Hello, welcome to the Werewolf by Night bonus show. It's a show that we make every week, mostly, for our patrons. My name's Jacob Balcom.
I'm Matt Howell.
And yeah, we're going to talk about a film called I Am Lisa. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on that because we have lots of other stuff to talk about. We are going to have the Urge to Scourge, Matt's award-winning segment.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we have a lot to talk about. We just got back from LA a few hours ago, where we were at a screening of the Werewolf by Night special on the Disney lot, and we moderated a Q&A. We got to hang out with Michael Giacchino a ton, and it was kind of the coolest 24 hours of my entire life, right?
Yeah, I feel almost like 20 years of crushing defeat and settling in my life was erased. I feel like renewed with confidence, like that things I do matter.
Yeah, no, there's a
You're looking at me like I was crazy.
Yeah, no, you're not. No, there's a weight off my shoulders now. There's a pep in my step. So we had a great time, and we'll share a little bit of that with you. But let's get some of the shit out of the way first and talk about a movie called I Am Lisa. It's from 2020, right?
I think it was made in 2019 and released in 2020.
Okay.
Something like that. So I was sick last week, and Jacob let me have a break from the bonus show. And I watched it, I think, a week before that week I was sick. So I saw this like at least 2 weeks ago. But part of me thought maybe I should go back and just kind of skim through it, but I don't think so. And I'm not even going to bother to look up the director or anything.
No.
This is one, like, you guys are tired of hearing this verse and chorus, that I found just searching for Wolfman or Werewolf on Tubi. So it was free, and that is about as good as a thing as I can say about it.
Yeah, I watched it 2 weeks ago too, and it's pretty familiar. It's about a girl named Lisa who goes back to her hometown when her grandmother dies and leaves her a bookstore. See, I remembered that.
Yeah.
She is...
It's a revenge.
Yeah. It's absolutely a revenge. It's a revenge horror movie. It's wow.
So I hated the main character literally the first scene of the film because she's driving to her grandma's bookstore that she's taking over, and she's wearing a stocking cap in the way that hipsters did in 2012, where it's like on the very back of her head, and they wear it so it has like a longshoreman, R.P. McMurphy or whatever in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Like, he pulls it down. It's like, I'm keeping warm.
Yep.
And hipsters wear it on the top, and there's like this condom spermicide reservoir at the top.
Well, it becomes like a beanie or something, or like I don't know. It's just...
So I hated her immediately because she had she wore a hat in a douchey, hipstery way.
Yeah.
She's got like thick framed glasses, so she's got a hipster kind of vibe to her. If you're watching this, Lisa, I'm sorry. I just thought you were annoying as fuck. So the funniest part to me also was that the first day we see her in her grandma's shop taking over this strange bookstore, there's regulars. She's already kind of knows the regulars from maybe her grandma's days of operating it or something. And then one of her schoolmates comes in, and they're like in their mid-20s or late 20s.
Yeah.
And her some old schoolmates come in and bully her like you would see in junior high.
Yes.
Or middle school.
Yeah, it's very typical Mean Girls.
I think they pull a first edition of something off the shelf and just steal it.
Clockwork Orange.
And we come to find out that the leader of the bullies, the Mean Girls, is the daughter of the sheriff. And that family pretty much runs the entire sheriff's department in that town.
Yep.
It looked like, as a town, it looked kind of like the towns that were in that Jim Cummings werewolf movie we saw.
Snow Hollow.
Wolf of Snow Hollow. Mm-hmm. And also, I forgot the other one we watched. That was a comedy that was set in a small town.
Werewolves Within.
Werewolves Within.
Yeah, which was great.
It looked like I love both of those movies.
Yeah, I love both of them as well.
It looked like it was set in that kind of small town, 500,000 people. And, do we just want to dive into it? So, if you've seen I Spit on Your Grave, you've seen this movie except completely neutered. And she's a werewolf instead of just a killer, a revenge killer.
Yes, but a werewolf in the fact that the only thing that makes her a werewolf are contacts and long fingernails.
For almost the entire film. I think maybe in the final sequence, I think she actually gets some fangs or something.
No, she gets like the nose.
Oh,
she just gets
like
the
prosthetic
werewolf
nose.
nose. Like, it's so weird. It's just full of very weird choices. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to like it. And weirdly enough, this is when I stopped believing, like, reviews. Because didn't it have, like, a critic's review of, like, 90% or something?
The Rotten Tomatoes, they had to have enlisted every person that worked on this film, have them start a film blog and give it a positive review, because there's no fucking way those reviews are real.
No, they don't look real.
Terrible.
They don't seem real. It was, the movie is not great.
No, it's presented as like a feminist, the strong, powerful, independent feminist roar, and it's not. And we were talking about it a bit on the LA trip, trying not to, because we tried to keep quarantined from, but the music was insanely bad. I could not believe this was made in 2018 or 2019, because the music sounded like that crunchy, what was the band name that you said?
It's like Puddle of Mud did the soundtrack, for
like
sure.
It's like Ginger Snap's soundtrack, but like
It
more
is. But
more douchey.
It's more douchey, more early 2000s. Like, Ginger Snaps is early 2000s,
Yes,
right?
It has an excuse.
Yeah,
this
it does.
doesn't. This all sounds like filter, like cover bands.
Yeah, it's so weird that it was made in 2020 or 2019. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's just, it's stuck in like this terrible, late 90s, early 2000s aesthetic. And yeah, I mean, it's a revenge movie, and it's not well done. And I kind of was bummed out that we watched it. So, as you know, if you've watched a lot of these bonus shows, we are normally pretty happy to watch these movies and finding good things about them. And there's not really a whole lot of films that we shit on, because it's not really who we are.
Jack and Diane we hated. This one we really didn't like. And a couple other. I think out of the 57 werewolf films or something we've watched, like, I think we didn't dig that TV movie with Peter Graves that much.
No, I think maybe 7 or 8 we've really hated. Maybe another third that we've been like, it was okay, there were some good parts, but I just couldn't find any good parts with this movie. I couldn't find any kind of redeeming factors in it. So I don't know. We've talked about it too long. To sum up, I feel like as a person that's a video producer, and as guys that are film nuts together collectively, we understand limitations of budget, we understand limitations of whatever, and I think that we bring that into every review and say, like, this is obviously a small budget, this is a passion project, like a Wolf Cop, that was what they did with the budget they had was freaking amazing. It was freaking great, it was totally great.
And if it weren't a werewolf, if it was something else, I probably wouldn't have even watched it, but I watched it and said, this is a passion project, a project of love, a labor of love, and it was a blast, and I hope we watch another Wolf Cop, even though I've heard it's not anywhere near as fun.
We'll watch it though.
Yeah, he earned that from me.
Yes, I agree.
So my point is that we are, I think, very thoughtful in the way that we approach these films when we review them. And this is not a good film, in my opinion. And I felt bad. Like, I think we announced it, and then Rob Haferman posted on our Discord something to the effect of, like, I just watched I Am Lisa, and like a face like that, kind of like just kind of pained, like oof face.
Yeah.
I was like,
he's right,
man.
You're right, Rob.
I picked a turd.
Yeah. Well, Tubi, man, it's hit and miss with those werewolf movies that are just on Tubi. There's a trove of them on there. There's like 30 of them on there, and I just
that Centurion one we didn't like either.
Oh yeah, we didn't like that one.
I forgot that was called.
Yeah.
I've already started doing the work of putting scar tissue over that part of my brain.
Yeah, that was bad. But the last month we watched a ton of great ones.
God, yes.
So
genre defining.
Yeah, so it's okay to have a little bit of a turd here.
Yeah, we don't have a pick necessarily. I would prefer to go back a bit.
I would
since
too.
we did a modern one that really stunk. That makes me not want to retreat back to.
Well, aren't we going to do The Boy Who Cried Werewolf?
Oh, yes, you're right.
That's what we're going to do. And that's 70s, right?
It's like 72 or 73.
Okay, it's perfect. That's what we're going to do next week is The Boy Who Cried Werewolf.
Yes, and that stars Kerwin Matthews, I think is his name. Everything I've seen and read about it sounds like a TV movie, but it was not. It was a theatrical release, a drive-in kind of movie.
Wow.
I've heard that if you were terrified of Scott's dad in Teen Wolf when he turned, you're going to be really scared of this dad.
Huh.
Or something to that effect. Like he looks like an Ewok or something. I found, I think it just got released recently on Blu-ray, but there's still copies kicking around on YouTube.
Okay, cool. No, I'm totally into that.
Yeah, search for The Boy Who Cried Werewolf 1973, I believe, and you'll find a full one. I think there's one that might have a horror host, like a YouTube horror host hosting it. But I don't, if that's correct, I'm sorry, I'm going off memory, they don't come up a lot. They're in the beginning, maybe, and that's like it. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hope you stick with us after I Am Lisa. If you watched that in advance, sorry.
Very sorry.
But, I'm not going to say sorry, not sorry, because part of being a film reviewer is, it's obviously got 5 bags of popcorn from me.
It's a 5-bagger.
Some of these things are going to be turds. And that's the chaff from the wheat, right? From the Bible.
That's right. Everything's from the Bible. I'm still hungover. I don't feel good.
Okay, so do you have any kind of urges?
Well, there's a
Prurient or otherwise.
Well, there's a Scourge type urge that I have recently.
I have a prescription for The Thing issue 33 for you.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's go into it. You got a point, otherwise it doesn't magically happen. Yeah.
Oh yes, they call him the Scourge. He's got a villain killing urge. If there's a baddie around, the Scourge will mow him down. So play a funeral dirge. Yeah!
Okay, I recorded this last night as its own segment with Jacob. We sat here together at my computer and I talked through this on a dual microphone and showed him the art just like we would normally do through Zoom. And it turns out that I did not actually record that. I thought that was my fault, but it was some kind of a weird glitch because I just recorded it again and the same thing happened. So I'm starting a new fresh recording and keeping my eye on the software. So it is still recording at this point. So fingers crossed I don't have to do this a 4th time. This Urge to Scourge segment is covering The Thing 33. Cover dated March 1985. We have this nice cover here of a bunch of female wrestlers piling onto Ben Grimm. His rocky arm is reaching out and just a terrified Help is coming out of it. And the cover says Gangway for the New Grapplers. At this point in Ben Grimm's story, he has joined a wrestling league with some other superpowered characters. And there's a female branch now as well, so counterpart. And this is where this takes place. So it's Battle of the Sexes, written by Michael Carlin. Ron Wilson did the breakdowns. Kim DeMolder finished it. John Morelli did the lettering. Bob Sharon did the coloring. Mark Grunow was the editor of it. And Jim Shooter was the EIC. Here on the left, we have Battle Axe, this big, brutish gal. And the woman on the right who's being hit is called Titania. But she is not the Titania that you know and are familiar with from She-Hulk and other stuff. She's a different character that existed. Didn't have a lot of exposure, but she is a reformed criminal who's now a wrestler. So she's getting walloped by Battle Axe. Ben Grimm's out in the crowd, and he's there with that Dunphy guy who becomes D-Man, Demolition Man, later. So yeah, I think D-Man gets powers from the Power Broker at some point, maybe during his wrestling thing. Maybe that's, I'm not really sure, but I remember he did get Power Broker powers. So yeah, Ben and Dunphy are talking about the match and this girl Sharon that Ben has been dating. And then Battle Axe pins. Titania wins the match. And Titania's pretty pissed off because this match was also for the title of spokesperson of the New Grapplers. And their league is called the UCWF. I forgot what it is, though. Wrestling something, something, something. The F is the female one, though, because I think Ben's just in the UCW. So Titania's angry because she started the Grapplers and feels it wasn't fair that the leadership was wrested away from her in a wrestling match, but that was the deal. So she jumps on Battle Axe again, and they start a little extracurricular activity. And Ben's thinking to himself, I knew Titania would be a sore loser. She's been a bad egg since I met her. Oh, back in 2-1-56. That's where she first appeared, or at least to him. So he climbs in the ring and separates them, and everyone else has to come in and start to help. We get to see some of these oddball characters. Like there's a portly little woman named Butterball, and the woman with hair like George Animal Steel is Magilla. It gets pretty goofy. So back in the locker room, all the grapplers have assembled. There's someone in the back that looks like Screaming Mimi, if you know that villain. So yeah, there's someone called Pound Cakes. So Titania's sitting up on the table, and she's mad. And we see Auntie Freeze, this old woman who apparently is like the leader. And most of the grapplers are kind of happy that Battle Axe won because Titania's criminal record kind of cast a negative pall over all of them. So whatever, and Titania's storming off saying, you know what, I'm legit, I paid my dues to society, and I went straight, I'm a wrestler now, but whatever, I'm going to go hit the showers, thanks for all the support, ladies, as she storms off. The ladies file out to go back out to the auditorium and either do some more matches or do some training, something. And this lady in glasses, I'm not sure who she is, sees this woman in a fancy schmancy, like, tea party hat and with a all in gold with like a gold fur, and she says, hey, new girl, gold digger, isn't it? You heard Auntie Freeze. If you want to make it with the grapplers, you better get your pretty little behind up to ringside for some up close educating. And Gold Digger says, I'd just like to stay a second and, kind of quiet Titania down. She says, well, suit yourself then. So she goes into the locker room, pulls out a very deadly looking assault weapon, says they're gone, and this little baby ought to quiet Titania down for good. So Ben and Titania are walking, or Ben and Battle Axe are walking back, and again he's thinking about Sharon that he's dating. He decides to give Sharon the cold shoulder and walk by with Battle Axe to try and make her jealous, doing his whatever alpha male horse shit. Then back in the showers, we see Titania back there, and she says, Gold Digger, is that you? Hey, do me a favor and get me a fresh bar of soap, will ya? As she's around the corner readying her big weapon. And then she steps out and reveals herself. We get a sexy silhouette of Titania in the foreground. She says, your crimes have gone unpunished for far too long, Titania. She says, unpunished? What do you mean? Didn't you see that fight I just lost? I've been punished, but good. Now quit kidding. Put that toy down and get me the soap, please. Gold Digger says, sorry, Titania. No soap. And then she readies the weapon. Justice is served. Boom, spack. No. Ben says, hey, I thought I heard a scream. It's coming from the grappler's locker room, says Battle Axe as they run towards the noise. Gold Digger's leaving as they arrive. Wait a minute, Toots. You hear anybody scream? Yes, it's Titania. There was a man in the shower. He shot her, then ran out the back way. Shot her? Hey, Battle Axe, I'm going to go take a look around back. Battle Axe goes in to the showers. Ben returns after not finding anyone. Says, how's Titania? And she's looking forlorn and says, dead. Splattered all over the wall. Shot dead by a man. And Ben's like, whoa, hold it right there, lady. We don't know that for sure. I didn't see nobody, neither did you. And Battle Axe gives him a punch and says, I know it. And so the rest of the wrestlers come in and they kind of, assume the worst and take it out on Ben, but that doesn't really matter right now. So this is, it continues on, but the Scourge is gone. I didn't really understand this one in some respects. Like, why would the Scourge target someone who is a reformed criminal who has straightened their life out and reformed themselves? Is the Scourge, whoever its real identity is, someone that can pass as a woman, wearing what is traditionally considered to be women's clothing? Or did the Scourge do like a subcontract and hire a female to act on his behalf? It's not quite clear. Hopefully we'll find some more out. But that is it for the Urge to Scourge this week. Next week, we're going to have Captain America number 318. I'm excited to get into the Captain America stuff because that is the core of a lot of this saga. Jacob and I decided last night when it's a full issue, when it kind of takes up the full issue, like much the way that One Thing issue did with Mastermind, whatever his name was. We're going to just do a capsule review. He's going to read it as well, so it's not going to be me presenting to him so much as us just doing a real quick review with some art. To keep it moving fast, we don't want it to be too long. All right, well, thanks for joining us this week on Urge to Scourge. Now back to the program in progress.
So yeah, it's yet another episode of the Urge to Scourge, and it's a popular segment. Not unlike on Cinema on Location, it's one of the more popular segments.
We'll get
a lot of write-ins for it.
So much feedback about it.
Yeah, so many emails.
People love it.
Yeah, so many cards. So many cards about it. So
yeah,
we're going to keep going on that. I mean, we're going to be getting into the full issues soon. We're going to be getting into the cap stuff real soon, I think.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how to handle that because
you don't want to make a 10-minute panel by panel.
No, so I think we're going to do like I think it would be best when it moves into cap and it's just cap until the end. I think if you're okay with it, I think we should both read it and just do a capsule review of it.
Sure, I think that's great.
Okay.
I'm totally into that.
Cool. We're almost there.
No, I know. I think there's like one or two, right? I was looking at the list the other day. I think there's one or two small appearances, and then we're just straight into full cap issues.
Yeah, and is this Grunwald?
Yeah, that's definitely Grunwald. I mean, fuck it. I'll read Grunwald cap all day long.
Me too. Literally.
Yeah.
You know, if I could choose, I would be vice president in charge of reading Grunwald cap.
Grunwald cap.
Who was that? That was like, oh, I call vice president. Like, why wouldn't you call president? You know, is that from The Simpsons or something?
No, it's from. God damn it, I can't remember exactly what that's from. Oh, so yeah, our brains are. I don't know, not at 100%.
No, we were up until 3:00.
Yep.
Having tiki drinks in the tiki bar of the wonderful Michael Giacchino, film and TV score composer turned director. Yeah,
so he flew us down to LA, and we got to hang out with him a lot. And then he took us to the Disney lot, and we watched a friends and family screening of the Werewolf by Night special. Matt, you and I did not watch it beforehand. We abstained, so we saw it for the first time on the big screen in one of the Disney screening theaters, and we loved it so much. And after that, we
were treated like royalty from the get-go. I mean, this is not clear. There was a car service, a town car waiting for us at the airport. There wasn't the sign that said "How Welcome," but there was,
next time.
Everything was like that. I mean, it was bananas. And everywhere we went, Michael would like point us at people, like famous people, and just be like, "These are the guys that like I listened to during COVID. These guys are like." He kept saying this. They're unofficially part of the Werewolf by Night crew.
Yep.
He considered us an integral part of the production. This is so weird.
It was pretty crazy. So after the screening, Michael got on stage with a mic and talked about the film a little bit, and then gave us this really amazing intro about how much he liked the show and how important it was to him during COVID. And Matt and I just got up and went down the aisles
to applause
for some reason. High-fiving all the way. And then we got on stage. We had there was a bunch of seats with mics. It was very professional, and
director's chairs.
Yeah, director's chairs even.
So Michael Giacchino was up there. Joe Farrell, who was the head of like the VFX team. Mm-hmm. Kerry, I forgot his last name, was another VFX guy who did a lot of practical effects.
He did most of the practical effects. Super cool guy.
Heather Quinn, who has a story and teleplay credit.
Yeah, and then Brian
Gay, the producer.
Yeah, and
executive producer.
Yeah, and all of them were so cool. And so, Matt and I had some questions, and we did a pretty fun Q&A, and then opened it up to the audience. And we had all right.
So. When we kind of like the steam on our Q&A kind of was like ending a little bit, and I wasn't super feeling my last couple questions, and everybody kind of passed the conch around and kind of answered a bunch of stuff. So I was like, this is a good point to just kind of open up the audience. So I said, yeah, hey, let's take some questions from the audience. And a hand went up, and I jogged up there with a wireless mic, handed it off to this guy with a baseball cap, and kind of crouched down next to him so I wasn't blocking anybody's view of the panel. And then I hear Chris Griffin's voice, and I turn on, and it's Seth Green, bearded and wearing a baseball cap, and just saying, first of all, you guys fucking killed it. That was fucking amazing, and he sounded very sincere.
Yeah, he totally sounded sincere.
And I forget what his question was, because I was still like, that's Seth Green. I'm kneeling next to Seth Green.
Yeah.
Who was just sitting here.
And so when you were kneeling next to him, you guys were the same height.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the audience actually, there was like probably 6 or 7 questions from the audience. That was cool.
Oh, it was super cool. Yeah, so Matt and I are, we want to be part of the team. We want to be helping. And so, yeah, Matt and I kind of, for most of the audience Q&A, we were running with our mics and handing it to people in the audience when we didn't realize, I kind of realized, both of us did towards the end, that Disney had people ready to do that at the top of the theater.
We didn't know that.
We didn't know that. And I didn't really think it was funny though. Michael's assistant Curtis was so great to us and did everything for us and was amazing and lined up all of our transpo and the hotels and the airport, and he was amazing. But when we saw him this morning as we were checking out of our hotel, he was like, "Oh man, you guys did so great. That Q&A was so cool. You didn't need to go up and like give people the mics, right? Like we had people for that. You guys should have just sat on with the rest of the people." Yeah. And I was like, yeah, we probably should have. But we were talking about it earlier, and we had already like done that, kind of established that we were gonna hand mics to people because we're hosts and that's what we do. But then when we realized that we were doing someone else's job, we didn't want to go back down to the bottom of the stage,
back to our director's
slink
chairs.
back and sit there and not say anything. Because I was like, fuck it. So I think both of us did the same thing. We just sat down in seats like in the audience and tried to disappear a little bit. But the audience itself, it was a friends and family screening, and the audience was great. It was just a bunch of people that loved Michael, that worked on the show, Michael's friends and family, and it was just, the audience just fucking loved it, and we loved it too. And we're going to get more into the specifics of the special when we interview Michael for next week's main episode. We're going to go really in depth into the special and what we loved about it, and I loved everything about it. Like I could not believe how much I loved it.
Yeah, I was just a big smile. I think almost the entire thing. I have a huge crush on Elsa Bloodstone as a character. The chemistry between her and Jack was amazing. I guess I just have to say, like Michael wanted us to come to his house, and we landed, put our bags in our rooms. And he pretty much said, "I'm coming over in like an hour." Mm-hmm. So we grabbed some lunch at a little cafe, and then he came and got us. He drove us all over LA. Like he could have used Uber or whatever, but he wanted to drive us around. We went to his house, which is this amazing place that I can't even begin to describe. But he is like the nicest person I've ever. Like first of all, I felt like he was like a brother, like that I had a separated birth, like. Mm-hmm. Immediately, just like he said, like, I feel like I know you guys because I've listened to you for 2 years. You've been in my ears. You've been in my car. You've been everywhere. Like you're like companions to me. So I'm being overly familiar, it's just because I feel like I know you. And what was weird was that was completely like reciprocated. Like he's the warmest, most genuine, kind, giving, thoughtful person I've met in a long fucking time. Yeah,
I fully agree. Yeah,
and he treated us like fucking kings, and he paraded us around like we were important. And it was clear to everyone that we are very important to Michael, and we've heard a lot about you guys.
That was it was pretty great. Yeah, I mean. It was amazing. So after the screening and after the Q&A, a small group went back to Michael's. We had drinks and we drank and hung out and talked until like 3 a.m. Kind of were taken back to our hotel, and we just passed out and woke up this morning fairly hungover. But Yeah, and the people that we got to hang out with last night, it was amazing. So Kirk, who plays Jovan in the Werewolf by Night special,
the big hunter,
beard, Scottish accent.
Guy. He's not Scottish.
He's not, no, but he was also like one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Teddy bear.
He was.
That gets thrown around a lot, but he is a teddy bear, man.
He is, and he has had an amazing career. You know, he worked for Jim Henson for years. He's best known and well loved for his minor role in Star Trek IV, where he plays the punk on the bus, and. God, he was just so nice. That's what I noticed, and I think it's because Michael is so kind. He surrounds himself with kind people. Like,
he draws them to him.
He does, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I kind of expected to go down there and be like, oh, okay, Michael's cool, and some people are cool, but this is L.A. I'm sure people are gonna kind of look down on us or be kind of Hollywood and stuff.
That was sushi at us and say, "Go back to Oregon."
I know. That's what I was. I wasn't expecting that, but I thought we would at least get like 10% of that. We got 0% of that.
No attitude, no standoffishness, none of that, the players, swimming the sharks bullshit. Everyone was, again, they're all attached to Michael. The kindest people I've met in a long time. Just creative, warm, friendly, open, and just wanted to talk to you about who you are, what's going on, and it felt all very genuine to me. So. Yeah,
it was funny, like, even in, like, the one or two tiny instances where maybe, like, we got to the party and we weren't talking to anybody for, like, 10 or 15 seconds, and I felt like I'm just like, oh shit, I'm a Make-A-Wish kid. I'm like, I feel like a Make-A-Wish kid right now. And then someone would come up and be so sweet, or like a contest winner or something. Yeah. I was like, oh fuck, like we obviously don't fit in. But we did, because Michael surrounds himself with artists and musicians and creatives and not, schmoozers and typical Hollywood types. And so, yeah, it was probably one of the coolest nights of my entire life. Would you say that?
It's hard to argue that.
It really is. Yeah, and we
met David Silverman, one of the original animators, and now a producer and director of The Simpsons. And he was at our disposal. Cool, kind of like a Burning Man hippie type dude who's just a brilliant artist.
Yeah.
And he was basically, Jacob told Michael on the way back from the theater, the screening, that he's a huge Simpsons nut, and I can't believe David Silverman's here. And he's like, oh, well, I'll get him for you. And then he just basically pointed him like a weapon towards Jacob at the tiki bar. He's like, he wants to talk about The Simpsons. And he's like, sit down and talk to Jacob. And David said, all right, what do you want to know, man?
He literally sat down next to me and he's like, okay, ask me whatever you want. And so that was very unexpected, because I am a Simpsons obsessive, and obviously I know that, David Silverman is a fucking architect of the show, and has such a huge part to I don't know, he's one of the biggest Simpsons deals, and so to be able to sit and talk and have a really long, like, meaningful conversation with this guy about The Simpsons, fucking unreal. Yeah, and that was just kind of another great thing that Michael did. And yeah, so we woke up very hungover today, went and had dinner with Michael, or had lunch with Michael, and then he sent us on our way. And
it wasn't just lunch with Michael. I mean, he brought us out with his fiance, his parents, and like their old family friends. So it was like it wasn't even just like like you're saying, contest winner or whatever. Like, it was. He wanted us to meet his parents. He wanted us to hang out with, like, it was so touching.
It was very touching. Like it really, it did get me choked up a little bit, just because we were just treated so kindly and with so much love. And his parents are great, and his parents' friends are great, and his fiance is amazing. Yeah. So I felt completely at home at this table. I don't know. It was great.
And it's special knowing that everyone there had heard us. Michael's heard us for hundreds of hours, literally. Yeah. So, like, there is no kind of like which Matt am I here? Mm-hmm. Because we're always performing in some sense when we're doing the show, but we're really just who we are. We're the best of friends, and we're just talking about stuff we love. We know, we wink and nod of stuff here and there, but I mean, we're not putting on any facades here.
Nope.
So knowing that a guy had heard 200 hours of it and wanted his parents to know them, was really free. Like I just felt like I didn't like have to say like, you know, do I say this right now? Is that weird? Blah blah. I just make my same stupid dad jokes I make on the show and whatever, and everyone seemed to enjoy our company, and it felt really comfortable.
Yeah, I've rarely felt so. I don't think I've ever felt so comfortable around completely new people that I have never met. But we went into this situation. It was as great of a crazy blessing, wonderful thing that I don't know. I don't think it can be topped.
No, I don't. I agree. And like the same, to pile on what you're saying, like I'm an anxiety-ridden person, and like you know, all those like Twitter jokes and stuff about like you make a plan with a friend a week in advance, and then the day of the event, you're like, how the fuck do I get out of this? I can get out of this. And I'm that type of guy. I'm an introvert ultimately, and I did not feel introverted at any point.
Never.
Right before the screening started, I was just kind of like pulling myself in, like thinking through my questions and just like trying to like get myself like centered. Like I want to remember the screening. I want to remember every moment. I want to absorb everything and just kind of go in like that Sherlock mind palace place. And then once it started, I was just like, good, I got it. We're good.
Yeah.
And the rest of the entire time, I was just so relaxed, which I was totally anxious about it a week before it happened. And then once we got there, it felt so warm and welcoming. I was just like taken aback.
Yeah, I mean, it was unreal. It was just unreal.
Yeah.
So, we're going to talk with Michael
Can't wait.
this coming week, and we're going to do a real deep dive into the special, talk about what he loves about the comics. We've seen him do a lot of interviews. I mean, he's doing a lot of press for this thing, which is getting universally rave reviews. Like
critical and audience scores above 90% on anything, literally, is a massive slam dunk, shatter the fucking backboard.
Yeah, and it's just so strange. And I mean, we talked about this a little bit introing the Q&A, that we just never in a million years expected this to happen. We never expected someone like Michael to make something so good involving the character of Jack Russell. And he did. He made something that was so incredible and new. And just, I'm still really overwhelmed. I feel like I'm not even ready to process everything, all the good that happened this weekend. I think I was texting my wife, and the one thing that I said, I mean, I think it was at the screening, so I mean, it hadn't even happened yet, and I was just like, my face hurts from smiling. I was like, I don't use those muscles a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, and today, my face hurts because I don't remember the last time I had such a good time. So, and I'm glad I was there with you. Yeah, and that was it was perfect. It was just perfect.
Yeah. And and we got home and watched it again with Renee, and then did this. So I mean, I've seen it twice now, and I absolutely love it. Don't know what else to say. I can't wait to talk to Michael again. I feel like I wish we lived down there or he lived up here.
I know. No, that was And I'm so excited because, he doesn't just want to come on for an interview. He loves the show, so he wants to come on for the full meal deal, you called it.
Yeah.
To where, so he's going to be discussing the entire issue of Iron Man 209. Yeah, I think it's 209. And it's a goofy issue. Yeah. And, and he said that. He's like, wow, this is a goofy issue, but I can't wait to talk about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think he actually said something to the effect of like, I read it and was like, oh god, this is a shitty issue we have to talk about. And then he's like, and then I realized, that you guys still have fun with shitty issues. Like, we're going to have fun.
Yeah, we are.
You guys always have fun talking about it. So, I mean, that guy gets us, man.
Yeah, he does. He does. He gets us like few do. So, So, I guess, look for the special Michael Giacchino interview and special episode. It's going to be coming out next week. And, we're super excited. I just hope he's not tired of us. We just hung out with him a ton.
I know.
Like, I don't think it's... We'll see. Yeah.
We'll see. He might do that thing that guys do when they try to break up with a girl without breaking up with her. Where it's like, it's a cold, distant.
Well, we'll see.
Like, oh, what? You guys are breaking up with me now?
Yeah.
Oh, you're breaking up with me? Oh, wow. Okay. I don't get this, but okay.
Well, we'll see. Tune in to find out. But yeah, so that's it. So from us here at the show, at the bonus show, may your fur never bristle in the moonlight.
Stay furry, friends.